Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. And today I want to tell you about one of the more interesting pianists of all time, someone who should be talked about a lot because she was not only very good, but very uniquely interesting. And this is Hazel Scott. Now, Hazel Scott was an absolute childhood prodigy who was classically trained, but she sort of made her name in the world of jazz, in the world of sort of post-novelty piano, in the world of soul, across multiple genres. And even though her name isn't widely known now, in the early 1950s, she became one of the first black entertainers to host her own television show on American TV. So a trailblazer musically and in the entertainment industry more widely, but it's her music that is really fascinating because among the many versatile things she would do, she would combine well-known classical pieces with kind of jazz and boogie woogie. So she'd play something like a Rachmaninoff fantasy or a Chopin waltz, or um, or a Hungarian Rhapsody for a pianized version by Liszt, just to give a couple examples, but there are many more. She would play these classical pieces in the manner of a concert pianist. And then her trademark was after luring you in, after a couple minutes, 2, 3, 4 minutes, she'd shift into a bit of a boogie, a bit of a jazz, a bit of a swing feel to it. And she'd have a trio that would kick in, sometimes a quartet, and it would start to swing. And she'd improvise on these well-known classical pieces. And it was so deeply enduring. She also played relatively obscure original music from the era. She would play jazz standards, which were new at the time of her 1930s and 40s recordings. And you could say that in many ways, the majority of her recorded output that we know of is from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, because as time wore on, she made a name for herself being a vocal civil rights activist. She had a run in with the government for other political views of hers, which kind of held back the amplification of her career, if you will, in the 60s and 70s, but she continued performing, including overseas. Her recorded output, like I said, more 30s, 40s, and 50s, but much of it remains online. She played with Charlie Parker. She played with a lot of very influential people. And in her day, she was considered a superstar because she seamlessly combined the worlds of jazz and classical as few others could. Hazel Scott, not one to be forgotten. If you like jazz, classical, boogie woogie, check her out. You will not be disappointed. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.